There's comments. Oh, I should have waited for it to be live streamed. As I was saying, our biggest outstanding item is the feedback we received on the preliminary report from the mayor and the city IT director. Craig and I spoke, and I think it's still his and my feelings that we'd like to invite the IT director to come to our next meeting, or the next meeting that he is available, to discuss the feedback and give the commission members an opportunity to ask questions, discuss his feedback, potentially answer anything that he and the mayor raised with the preliminary report. That being said, I'm not sure exactly who has given feedback, or I was not present at the last meeting, so I don't know exactly what was discussed, but I think we should use this time to revisit the comments that were provided, and know anything, come up with any questions, any answers ahead of the potential ahead of the invitation to the IT director to join us. So does it sound good to you guys if we say hope to have everyone provide feedback by next Wednesday, and that way we can start the process of inviting the IT directors? Does that sound like a fair timeline?
Yes, I think that's realistic. That was something I was trying to initiate with my group as well.
Great.
Because likewise, I wasn't able to attend the last meeting due to a work schedule conflict. So this is me catching up as well today, right along with you.
Great. Josh, Martin, how's that sound to you guys? Week for feedback, and I apologize if you already have, then you're way ahead of me.
Yeah, I have no issue with that.
Great.
That works for me as well. I also missed the last meeting, so I am also trying to catch back up.
Okay. Yeah, and I think, as far as the last meeting, I think, there was a discussion, a very preliminary discussion about the feedback that was provided to us. Jessica, is that accurate? Was there anything else really top line that was discussed at our last meeting that we should go over?
No, we didn't really go into the feedback too much.
Okay. Great, then yeah, we'll plan for that. Hey Ed, how are you? Ed, can you hear me? All right. Maybe he's having some audio issues. So I think our next steps, I will recirculate the feedback we received from the mayor and the IT director, so it's at the top of everyone's inbox, with a goal of everyone providing feedback by next Wednesday. Jessica, how do you recommend, or what's the best course of action to extend the invitation to the IT director to join us at our next meeting, or the next meeting that he's available?
I'd be happy to reach out to him to ask him if he can attend.
Great. Yeah, if you could do that, and I think CC Craig and myself, that would be great. And our next meeting is 2 weeks from today. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So you wanted me to invite him to the one 2 weeks from today?
Yeah, I think if he's
Okay.
available, let's get him on that at that meeting. And obviously, if he's unavailable, then at the next one he is.
Okay.
So that would be great. Thank you. All right. So the next thing Craig had was to follow up with Brian. I believe the last meeting he had some suggestions for presentations to the commission. So maybe we can send him a note on that So we can also get that in the works. And I know Craig also mentioned following up with the Common Council about getting some additional appointees to assist us as we move forward, drafting the secondary report and, finishing up all of our loose ends that we. That being said, that is everything I have right now. I think we're still in a little bit of a holding pattern as we await additional feedback and move forward with the second or the final report. Does anyone have any questions, comments, anything they would like to raise?
So when we do get the IT director in a session with us, what format will we be using? We will just really provide like an outline, or is everything going to be compiled together, like similar ideas? Will just be like a general consensus?
Yeah, do you mean as far as questions or just things we would like to cover with him?
Right. Mm-hmm. Because
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like an interrogation or so.
No, I don't think we want to put him through that either. I think it would make the most sense to, as you said, Deanna, compile the feedback we have and maybe any questions. And, we can start with just asking him to explain, if there's a question, explain their thought process, maybe talk through the concerns that they raised a bit more. And then, maybe we can either ask Craig to lead it or, give each commission member an opportunity to ask additional questions. But we can, I think we can, I'll touch base with Craig and see how he wants to handle it. And then,
Okay.
by the time we have all our feedback, we can decide, of course, a course of action. But, that's my suggestion, to ask him to expand upon their notes a little bit and then kind of open it up to folks if they want to ask questions, or we can designate whoever to lead the, I don't want to say questioning or interrogation, since we just but it designates someone to kind of be back and forth there.
Yeah, I think that'd be an excellent idea, and being very proactive if we compiled all, I guess, like our questions and concerns, and then provided that to them ahead of time, so I guess they could be prepared.
Yeah, that's
or at least know what to expect, and and provide some type of context.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for mentioning that, Deanna. I think giving them heads up on our questions, so they, it's more of a back and forth as opposed to kind of hitting them with it at first glance. That would probably be the most beneficial use of our time and this administration's time as well.
Yeah, I do recommend having a good idea of what you're going to be asking and what kind of feedback you guys have.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Luke. So that'll be our plan, again, unless Craig feels differently. I can't imagine that he will, but that will be my recommendation. So thank you for that question, Deanna. Does anyone else have any questions, thoughts, comments, anything they want to raise?
I mean, we did actually have a fair amount of discussion last meeting with Craig about some of this feedback. I'm trying to remember the specifics, but we did kind of dig through a bunch of the questions about financing and the difficulty of making an authority and questions of failure. So, I mean, there was some amount of discussion last meeting, but it wasn't a compile a list kind of work session.
Great. Yeah, thank you. That's helpful. Like I mentioned, I wasn't able to join, so I wasn't exactly entirely privy to that discussion, but I'm sure Craig has that discussion down, or compiled for feedback to provide the IT director. All right. Jess, is there any housekeeping, anything I'm missing that we should talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Great. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining, and unless anyone has anything else, I think we can close the September 7th meeting of the Municipal Internet Commission. Again, I will bump the feedback to the top of everyone's inbox so you can take a look at it. Please get it back to us by next Wednesday. And Jess will reach out to the IT director to check on his availability to attend our next meeting for some thorough discussion. Thank you guys again for taking the time. Look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks.
All right. Have a good evening.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Have a good night.